3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research, try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. Tonight, we have a very, very special show for all of you out there. Whether you're tuning in the future or you are with me live right now, then you are probably here to find out who is the big winner of the Aroma Academy nosing kit for whiskey. So, as always, let's start off with our little intro and let's get into it. All right, so if you are here, first off, you are one of the first. So thank you for showing up early, and thanks for hanging out in the chat. See a few of you guys kind of getting to know each other in there. All of you getting to know my cat's balls. And let me just give a couple quick shout outs here. So first off and foremost, shout out to Tyler Edmondson, who is one of my patrons, been one of my patrons for a little while, and I happen to know that he is at work right now and should be doing something better with his time, but I still appreciate him showing up to the live stream. So you may have noticed that I am drinking a beer right now. That is because I am delaying the inevitable. There's no sense in revealing the winner, before a lot more people have showed up. So I am drinking a local craft beer from Treehouse, which is in Massachusetts. This is the Green India Pale Ale. I am not normally an IPA guy, but in general, I can enjoy it. I tend to lean heavier. I like porters and stouts, but I am not against something a little lighter like a Belgian ale or, obviously IPAs. Light is an interesting term because it's a bit sharp, but it's still, you know what I'm talking about. So let me check out what's going on in the chat here first before I kind of get too much into something, and let me finish. So first off, shout out to Tom R., first guy in my chat. As always, it's nice to see him. Let's see, we got Skinhead in there, Adam Thompson, Tanner Jeffries, a couple new names, although I think I've heard of both of you guys. Charlie Earhart, let's see. My cat's balls once again. I'm just going to use every opportunity I possibly can to say my cat's balls because hilarious. Go Habs, nice. Let's see, who else we got? Blind Whiskey Reviews, Santa Cruzin, we got you in here. Malted in Montreal, great to see you. My boy Malted in Montreal did a video on Booker's today. So if you have not checked it out, I know you all enjoy Booker's. So you should definitely go check out his video. Personally, I had a little trouble playing it. I have no idea why. Certainly not his fault. I guess my internet just kind of sucked. But I have yet to watch the whole thing. But knowing Swami, it's going to be a good video. So make sure to check that one out. All right, let's see. Turn my mic up a little bit. No problem. So I'm going to kind of let you guys give me some feedback. I just increased the gain. If it needs more or less, just tell me in the chat and I will adjust. Turn up my fancy mic. It is so weird how much trouble I have with this. Oh, that's because I actually limited it. So this will be a little bit better, I'm guessing. You heading to Nashua. Nice, Go Habs. What are you doing in Nashua? Jose Cuvas is watching from California. That's pretty nice. Let's see. Love my videos. Thank you. All right. So let me see what I want to talk about tonight. Well, I actually had a really, really awesome time. And those of you who are checking out my Instagram, which I only just started doing, so I apologize for the fact that I kind of suck. I am not as much of a millennial as I could be. I'm 34, going to turn 35 in a couple of months. So sorry, chat. I'm going to be turning 35 in a few months, but I'm like right on that cusp of millennial where I'm old enough to realize how much people started to suck. So I'm just kidding. Actually, I will say that some of you know I'm a software guy. So I have a millennial on my team, but I work with a bunch of others, and I will say that they're very hardworking people. So it's not what it sounds like. I'm a little bit more worried about the apparently Zennials is what they're calling them, the slightly younger than millennials. So call it people like less than 16 or something at this point, with people who have straight up grown up with a phone in their hand from the time that they're like 1. So do I have a Snapchat? I did, but I didn't really, I just couldn't get into Snapchat. I tried doing it for a little bit, but it just was like, there's so many different social media things that you got to keep up on. It's hard. You really just got to pick some and stick to them and actually do them properly. But in general, no, I don't bother with that. Spring chicken, yeah, I know. Malted, you're that old? I didn't realize that. I have not gotten the Knob Creek single barrel. I will probably end up doing that. So I have a bottle of Knob Creek. I have yet to actually do the video on that. You guys probably saw it in the beginner bourbon video there. But I have not actually done the video on that one. I really should. I don't want to wait till I turn 50. Stop telling me to wait till I turn 50. You guys will have to forgive me, by the way. I'm once again, I freaking feel like I'm always sick. It's been a rough winter for me for whatever reason. If I'm sniffling into the microphone, I'll try to avoid it. I don't know if it's with an X or with a Z. I'm gonna guess a Z because they're trying to play off the whole like Zen thing, you know. Oh my God, let me tell you about something. All right. I'm gonna try to keep this as I'm gonna keep this as like vague as I can. I work with somebody who is from California, and the other day he was telling us his username and password for something, and his password to this system had the word namaste in it. I literally put my head down on the conference table, laughed loudly, like more than I should have, and just, oh man, who does that? Who does that? I saw somebody here who's from California. What are you doing? I hope you're from a good part of California. One of the, like, San Jose, one of the parts that, like, you're afraid to even be in. Yeah, you know, if I, no, so Malted, you missed it. This is a India Pale Ale, but it's from a local brewery. It was probably brewed like a couple days ago, if I had to guess. It tastes very, very good. It's one of the better ones around here is Treehouse. So it probably is the J&B whiskey making me sick. No doubt about it. What did you guys think of that episode? I felt pretty good about that episode. I feel like a couple episodes I was in a bit of a slump, maybe hurried through it a little bit, but the J&B episode I surprisingly felt pretty good about, despite its content. Oh, you're from San Diego? Boo. That's exactly where I'm talking about. No, it was not ironic. I have a feeling that the guy is that way. But anyway, I will drop it at this point. So, well, thanks, my cat's balls. Appreciate that. Are there really only 42 people in here? Are you kidding me? Come on. All right, we got like 40, 47. It'll get up there. Either way, I'm a little disappointed. I would have thought there would be a few more. We'll see. Maybe Wednesday nights isn't really the time to do it. It kind of makes sense. I mean, people have to work. I personally I personally took tomorrow off because I am going to do a bit of a marathon. Now, you know, speaking a little bit like real talk here for a minute, I suspect that the reason I'm getting sick is because I've been going a bit too hard both at work and on the channel and everything else. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I took the day off. I'm going to stay at home and I'm going to write and film all day long. I'm going to try to knock out like 5, maybe even more episodes. I have several different things in mind, but this is a great question for all of you there. Excuse me. I'm looking for more videos that are less reviews and more topical, like informational stuff. Think of like my bourbon buying guide, or more importantly, like the, you know, should you decant your whiskey? How do you nose a whiskey? Like, how long does whiskey last? Are there any topics that you guys would like me to cover? Because frankly, it's a good time to suggest it. I may very well film it tomorrow. I do have a few ideas in mind, but I would love to hear what you guys would like to see. I mean, clearly you guys showed up to the live stream. You are some of my biggest supporters. So I'd love to hear what you guys want, and I'd like to make the content that you like. I am not going to sleep in because I have 2 kids, and I'm going to have to bring them to the babysitter. So, yeah, I'll still probably be up at like 6 o'clock. Oh, Johnny K's here. All right, good. We can start the giveaway. All right. I did not bring the Power Glove upstairs today, although I am not against getting it. We'll have to see where the night takes us. But I didn't bring it up tonight just because I was actually looking to see if I had anything else. So I have a Virtual Boy. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it doesn't have like a head strap or anything, so I can't just like have it on and be like stupid about it. But so I do have a comparison of different whiskey glasses. However, I do want to make a new one. I've been contacting a few different companies like Norlin and that one that has like the slant down the middle of the glass. So you have like the bourbon or whatever in one side and then it's ice on the other side. That one looks pretty cool, especially if you're going to chill your whiskey. There's a number of different glasses I would love to review. Obviously the Glencairns I'd love to kind of put back up against some of the other ones, even like the Glencairn with the stem. So thanks, Go Habs. Yeah, you know, I like that too. And as far as I'm concerned, like my streams are not about me, even though they tend to be me talking about myself, but that's fine. You guys enjoy that, I hope. I watch some of the other streams, and in general, like there's a couple of us that do a lot of audience interaction. Once again, Malted in Montreal is a good one for that. But for me, that's exactly what this is supposed to be. This is a cool way for me to interact with you guys live. And I like that. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoy it. Let's see. So best whiskey glass. Yeah, favorite liquors to mix whiskey with. That's a good one. Do a comparison of different whiskey glasses. So a couple of whiskey glasses. So the mini barrel. I'm actually thinking that my next live stream... Actually, I might have to bust that one out pretty soon. Maybe that'll be like an in-betweener episode. Maybe I'll just film that for fun tomorrow. We'll see. Actually, maybe I'll even bust that out tonight. We'll see how long this goes and if I run out of stuff to talk about. Let's see. Best value whiskeys. That's a good one. Do better whiskeys make better mixed drinks? That's a good question. Swami, what's your real name? You know, Swami's real name is Swami. Yeah, you don't know that? That's a real name. Yeah. All right, let's see. You could do a video on the different whiskeys, bourbon, scotch. So Colby, you nailed it. So I have this video that I've been writing for a while at this point because it basically talks about all of the different types of whiskeys that you got, you know, and most of you will know all this, but you got bourbon, Irish, Scotch, Canadian, rye, Indian, Japanese, there's Australian, but in general, like a lot of those are considered world whiskeys. I'd like to be able to break them up and talk about what actually qualifies them as being such. I'm trying to find a way to make that not like a 20-minute video of me talking about grains. Because other than that, I'm not sure. I mean, I can make it entertaining, but like that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's just a big, long script. And not only that, but memorizing that kind of stuff, it's tough, man. I mean, you guys see I do the cut like with the white fade in there, but doing that in too many times during the course of a video is, I don't know, too noticeable. So some of the, sorry, so Malted probably can't say that. I'm using a different chat today, by the way, so if you're not seeing your messages show up, chances are you said something that was stupid. But we'll see. Okay, I'm going to have to read through these comments later, but I don't want to spend too much time here just staring at the comments. But in general, thank you guys for the ideas, and keep them coming if anything occurs to you during the course of the stream. I really would like some new stuff. I have an idea for a video I might film tomorrow. It has to do with food pairing. I'll just leave it at that. Do a video trying interesting casks like the Freud Quarter Cask, Chetnut casks, Anima Nigra casks, Stout, etc. That's true. I am his pimp. I don't know. I know it sounds silly, but like I genuinely enjoy watching Malted Montreal's show, and I find myself watching it more than any other whiskey tuber. So you know, I like most of the whiskey. Actually, I like all of the whiskey tubers. Honestly, there's one or two that I tend not to watch a little bit less, but I won't name them. But Swami is one that I tend to watch almost all of them. So. I've said it before, but if you aren't subscribed to Malted in Montreal, give them a shot. At least watch a couple of videos and then see if it's your style. It's definitely a little different than the way that I do things. He's much more raw and but like in a good way. You know, like he's kind of like the badass if you want to think of it. And you can tell that from his intro, which I made by the way. So, but he's been abusing it by slowing it down. I'm very disappointed in you, Swami. So, what about more whiskey cooking recipes? I wouldn't mind doing something like that. That'd be fun. What I want to do is so this is like the dream, right? So I want to make enough like cooking with whiskey kind of videos that Binging with Babbage gets in touch with me and wants to do something. That would be the only reason I'm even picking him out is if any of you watch him. On his back shelf there, he's got a whole shelf worth of whiskey. So in the off chance that somebody sees this and actually knows him, point him in my direction. I would freaking love to just do something with that guy. And not even because he's huge. I just find his content like super entertaining. So, hey, good. We got a couple subs for Malted Swami. All right. So I'm going to stop, being a pimp for Swami here. So, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I get distracted easy by the chat. So, all right, the reason I'm taking tomorrow off. So I am marathoning a bunch of videos, and that's kind of what I was getting at. But I haven't done this like pretty much ever. I usually don't even take all of my vacation days. And being in the position I'm in, it's very, very hard to take a day off because it usually means I'm coming back to more work than I left with. My team is really, really good, but there's a lot of stuff that unfortunately at the moment only I know. And so if I'm not there, it doesn't get done. So it's a training issue. I probably need to try a little harder to cross train, but that's the reality of it. So taking tomorrow off is going to be awesome. So Whiskey Throttle, it's J and B, not J and P. But no, I will not be marinating a steak with J and B because that would be like an animal died for that. If an animal is going to die, I'm gonna at least do it some justice. Maybe I'll do what is it? Jack Daniel's has a sauce that they do. I bet if I used a better bourbon, it would go a little better. We'll see. I have thought about doing flights, and in fact, I'm gonna give you guys a little hint tonight. The winner is a bottle that is part of a series. So I actually have two bottles of the same, I guess the same distillery. I actually don't know enough about this bottle to claim that it's definitely a distillery, but I actually don't think it is. It might be a blend. Excuse me. But either way, I have a couple bottles, so I'm going to do them side by side and see how that goes. So let's see how many people you have. So it says peak concurrent 62, but I actually don't think I have a good way to know. I don't have a good way to know how many people are actually currently in here. Let's see, analytics. Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like I have 60 people in here. So that's great. Let's see. Okay. So how much longer am I going? Stop saying J and P. You're the worst. Is J and P different than J and B? Anyway. All right. So let's see. It's 9:20. Let's say right around 9:30, I'll announce the winner, just to give you guys an idea. I used to like the Jack Daniel's sauce. I used to go to TGI Fridays occasionally and have that. That was good stuff. So I do have a cool story to tell you guys. Hold on. Once I finish this beer. This is good beer. If anybody's in the Massachusetts area, Treehouse is one of the craft distilleries that you definitely want to visit. No, I didn't say who won yet, Andrew. Let's see. Black Velvet. No, I will not have Black Velvet again. So one thing I will say is that, so there were probably, I actually don't know how many comments there were, but there were probably a couple hundred comments on that 10,000 subscriber video. And There were probably about 30 or 40 that recommended things I had already reviewed. It was just, if you think about it, like, how hard is that? If you're entering a contest, I straight up say, like, you know, suggest something that I might want to try, and then you recommend something I've already had. That doesn't seem very smart to me. But oh well, I made it very easy to pick out people who may have just picked up on the fact that I was having a contest, so they didn't get picked. There was one guy who genuinely just miscalculated, and I considered it, but I wasn't going to buy the bottle again, although the one he suggested was tempting. I don't really remember what it was. I have brewed my own beer. It came out terrible. So you ever see those Mr. Beer kits? I'm sure you probably have. It's like a little barrel, about that big, maybe like that long and that big. And you have to wash it out and put all this like soap stuff in it or whatever and really, really clean it. And then you mix your beer in there and get it to ferment. And you wait a couple of weeks or whatever. You bottle it, wait a couple more weeks. And like a month later, you have your own beer. And the beer that I made, it was called Patriot Lager, which is basically supposed to be Sam Adams. And it was terrible. It tasted too fruity, which I've later learned meant that I somehow didn't clean it well enough, which I did exactly what they told you to do. I don't think there was anything else I could have done. I think I later made one more, and that one came out terrible too, so then I gave up. But let's see what else. Hey, Pressman. Let's see. Is there anybody else in here that I haven't kind of acknowledged that's a regular? Bourbon Journey, Whiskey Throttle. What else we got? Hey, Raver. All right. Shout out to my refrigerator that just kicked on. I'm sure that's... hopefully you guys can't hear that. What's everyone drinking tonight? So Santa's drinking Ocean's Voyage 10. I have wanted to try that for a while, Santa. I got to get my hands on a bottle of that. Deja Brew in Shrewsbury, Mass. I actually lived in Shrewsbury 2 years ago. I lived there for 3 years. I never got around there. But Emra Caker, I'm not sure how to say that, but where do you live? You must be very, very close to me if you even know about that place. If I used lager yeast at room temp, I did exactly what the directions said, but I'm pretty sure it was room temperature. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I just did it bad. Let's see. Wow, lots of comments tonight. Thank you guys for keeping the chat moving. It's much more fun this way. Watching from Marblehead. Okay. Nice. 4 Roses single barrel. What are you thinking, Bourbon? You like it? Let's see what else we got. Eagle Rare. Buffalo Trace, Elijah Craig. Nice. I got a lot of bourbon drinkers in this chat. Let's see. You're from Holden. Nice. Your name's not George, is it? just thinking about that. That would be kind of funny. Yeah, no, I'm in Northborough, dude. So not even that far at all. Actually, one of my coworkers lives in Holden. Ardbeg 10 and Auchentoshan 3 wood. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to ignore this chat at this point. So, we got 5 more minutes till I'm announcing that winner. So let me tell you guys a little bit about what I did this last weekend. Then I'll probably end up interrupting my own story to tell you guys about the winner. I will say that it's driving me crazy not having a whiskey in my hand at the moment. It's a little weird to drink a beer. I don't know how Swami does it every time. It's just kind of not what I would want to do. Just realized this thing is in your view. I'm sorry about that. That's a little better. Oh, your name is actually Emra. Okay. All right. So, this last weekend at Julio's Liquors in Westboro, Massachusetts, some of you may have seen, I went to this whiskey event. Now, this thing is fantastic. And actually, while I'm talking, I'm going to grab this picture because I want to show you guys because it was pretty fun. I should probably have done this beforehand because I totally can't talk and do this at the same time. Sorry about that. I don't even know how to Twitter. I'm so bad at technology. All right, there we go. That's a joke because I'm clearly not. All right, 3, 2, 1. Slow download speed. All right, while this is doing its thing. Oh, man, come on. Can I really just like not save this? It's trying to save it as some weird file. Oh, that's why. That's a little better. I made it do what I wanted it to do. All right, so this is what I am trying to show you guys. So I went to Julio's Liquors over the weekend, and I went with a bunch of people, and it was really, really fun. So that's me, obviously, over on the side. A few of my friends here. My old neighbor Gary is on the. Also, from the left, it's got Dave, Gary, Christina, Madhu, Molly, Jean, and Bill. Myself, obviously. So we went to Julio's and had a really, really fun time because they had about 300 different whiskeys there. Across, I think it was 78 different brands. And it was just freaking awesome, right? So you go in, and a couple days prior, I had told them, and I know the guys there pretty well, but I told them I was coming and I was going to be bringing 6 people with me, and we were all going to be wearing Whiskey Dick t-shirts. And I mentioned to him, I was like, is there any way that we don't have to wait out in the rain? Because frankly, like we're going to be wearing t-shirts. We're trying to make a thing out of this. And, I was like, I promote your store and everything. In fact, I'm doing it right now. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll put you on the VIP list. So I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly what that entails, but it sounds better than waiting out in the rain. So he's like, just come in about half hour early, and I'll stick you downstairs in this little hallway, and then you can wait and you can get in through kind of the side door. I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. So one of the first times that my my clearly superior whiskey channel here has really gotten me special treatment. So anyway, I came in, I went with a bunch of these people, 6 other people, and we waited in this hallway downstairs. And as we're waiting, we're just kind of, hanging out. People are looking at us, and they're like, what's their t-shirt say? Is he a whiskey dick? What? I want to be a whiskey dick. And like, people are really like loving the t-shirts. Some women are just like, oh, whiskey dick. Oh my God. It was ridiculous, but it was awesome. And so we waited a little while, and we get into the main floor where they were giving out all the whiskey. And once again, get the reaction. Now, the good thing was that some of the distillers actually recognized the channel, some of the smaller ones for sure. But nobody knew, like nobody actually came up to me and was like, oh my God, I watch your channel, which was the only thing that I wanted all day. And I really, really was hoping that was going to be the event. I mean, like obviously you guys know, like after hitting that 10,000, I really thought that... I shouldn't have read the chat. I really thought that I was going to get recognized, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to interrupt my story here because it hasn't actually gotten good yet. And I am going to announce the winner. So let me just double check real quick that nothing interesting has happened that I have to pay attention to. All right. So the winner of the Aroma Academy Whiskey Aroma Nosing Kit is Jefferson's Ocean, which I totally faked with Santa Cruz's comment earlier that I didn't already have this and wanted to taste it. And the winner is, I can't find, oh, here it is. Winner is Clinton Riesig. I've already contacted him, so he already knows. Hoping that he's in the chat. If he's not, doesn't matter. You don't have to be in the chat to win. But he is the winner, so anyway, so I am going to open this guy up and have this. So let me pour a dram, and then I'll kind of get back into my little tale of this weekend. Where do you sign up for the Canadian giveaway? You guys already have that with your free healthcare. So you don't need my charity. Ooh, yeah. Let me just do that one more time. Oh, so good. Smells good. All right. Let's see. Ooh, that is thick. Love it. So, oh, Clinton is it? Clinton is in here. Awesome. Very, very happy to see that. Did I get your name? Yeah, I did. All right, good. Well done, Clinton. So I'm glad that you showed up because it certainly makes it seem like you were more of an involved winner, which I'm very happy about. So I will be sending out your kit tomorrow, Friday. Sorry, no, probably not tomorrow. I'll send it out Friday, and you'll probably get it within like a week or so, I would guess. I'm going to pay for the cheap shipping because I'm cheap. No, whatever it is, I'll get it out to you soon. I am very, very jealous of you, and I might consider buying one for myself, honestly. So, this already smells fantastic. I'm giving away Canada. Nobody wants Canada. That's true. A dilly dilly dram. All right. Let's see. All right. So, by the way, to anybody who showed up for the stream just to find out if they won or not, thank you for showing up to the stream. I hope you had fun. Next time, I hope you stick around a little longer. But I actually don't think that there were too many people who left. So, let's see. About 9 people left. That's all right. All right. So, what am I drinking today? Jefferson's Ocean. Oops. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Sorry. I hope that you guys saw the original thing where I did this. I don't know. I have different settings on here, and I'm still totally not that great. All right. Anyway, so Jefferson's Ocean. Don't have to make a deal out of this. I ended up making a kit out of my wife's essential oils. Añejo tequilas, aged tequilas that taste like kind of whiskey. Honestly, I have no real interest in tequila. I've had several of them, like good ones, and just it's good. You know, it's fine. I just enjoy whiskey a little bit more. All right, so I have talked too much. Let me get into the nosing of this guy. As with normal, I haven't had a chance. That you guys just saw me open this, so haven't had my own chance to nose this or taste this. So I'm going to kind of go off somebody else's notes here and see if they match up to what I get. So, ooh, that nose is awesome. Oh wow. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me a little bit of the 2017-02 Bookers. It's very smooth. You've got, I don't even remember what the 2017-02 was in it. It's just the first thing that popped into my head. But one of the first things that they popped out with the nose here is salted caramel. I'm not really getting that. I'm getting kind of a very soft rye. It's a rye that's like delicious. It doesn't have any burn to it. I agree with the floral. I think that's actually pretty prevalent in here. That may actually be what's helping to mask the rye to make it not quite as stinging. Let's see. Let's see. No, I'm still not getting the salted caramel yet. I might have to have a little bit more time with this guy to pick that out. But that's supposed to be the prevalent one in here. I might blame it on the cold, but actually, I'm getting a little bit. So I watched a little bit about this whiskey prior to starting the stream, and the guy who makes it, of course, I don't know anything about him. He said that people refer to this as the salted caramel popcorn whiskey. And actually, I get some of that popcorn. More like buttered popcorn, though, than salted caramel. So, all right, let's have a sip. So, I would like to bring this back up because I totally forget the name. So, Clinton Riesig. I remembered Clinton, but I couldn't remember the last name. I'm probably saying your last name wrong, too. So, Clinton, this one's to you. Congratulations on winning the prize. Wow. This is really good. This is way better than I thought it would be. I'm pretty excited right now. I'm glad I have this whole bottle. I will almost certainly be doing one of my reviews tomorrow on this guy, by the way. So, what's going on, Jotty? Let's see. All right, so let me, while I'm kind of drinking this and kind of getting a little bit of notes from here. First off, the rye is very prevalent in the taste here. But one person asked me how I went about selecting the whiskey. hold on one sec, sorry. Are any of the lower end Jeffersons worth it, or do you know? I've seen them in a local store and I've wondered about it. So here is the fun part. I bought, just yesterday, a regular bottle of Jeffersons, and I'm going to have them side by side to kind of compare and contrast. Now, keep in mind, this is about a $28 bottle. This is like $80. So, I mean, this is going to be better. But we'll see. Either way, how did I go about selecting this whiskey? Now, as I said, there were a couple hundred comments. Actually, there might have been more. I'm totally guessing here. I will say that there were several that if they showed up, I was going to pick them. And Jefferson's Ocean was one of them. I have wanted to buy Jefferson's Ocean for about a year at this point, and I never wanted to pull the trigger on the price tag because it's, $80. But I love the story behind it. And the story behind this whiskey is part of the reason that I made the channel in the first place. Now, if any of you have seen the very first video I did, with the terrible lighting and the bad audio and just 15 minutes of me talking about, it wasn't terribly unentertaining, but it was a little rough, about Jack Daniels. Now, I thought Jack Daniels had a pretty cool story to it. They talk about how Jasper Daniels, he, was trying to open his safe and he got pissed off because he couldn't open it. So he kicked it and broke his toe, got blood poisoning, and that's how he died, or whatever. Like, I was like, what? I could totally see somebody doing that after having too many Jack Daniels. But there were a few other stories in there about like how they even came up with the name of Old Number 7. And it was like either he had 7 mistresses or it was the 7th, attempt at making this different mash bill. Or they said that there was actually, they called it Number 7, and then they shipped it off to the World's Fair, lost the barrels, and then they shipped another set, but then they found the old barrels, so they actually marked them as Old Number 7, and then that just kind of took the name on. There was a bunch of little stories. I thought that was really cool, and I started looking into it, and there were a bunch of other really cool stories. Like Yamazaki has one of the coolest stories that I've seen. I think it was I forget when it was. It was like maybe the 40s or 50s or even the 20s. The Yamazaki distillery opened up, and the villagers around it didn't understand what was going on, and so they just assumed that there was a spirit or like a demon inside the distillery who ate barley, and they were like thinking that was where that all they saw was barley going into the distillery and nothing was coming out. So they thought there was a demon, and I was just like, are you kidding me? This is the kind of stuff. That's what inspired me to make the channel. So with in this one it's Voyage 13, but with Jefferson's Ocean, what they do is they put the barrels onto a ship and they take them across the world. They visit 5 different continents and they cross the equator 4 times, and it stays on the ship for like 2 years. And all the sloshing around in the barrels and everything is what gives it that unique flavor. And when I read that for the first time, I was like, man, I want to get my hands on this bourbon and I want to review this because that sounds just awesome. Even if it tastes like reasonably like a normal bourbon or like a high-end bourbon, I just think the story behind it is worth like telling, So anyway, I've totally just rambled on for like 10 minutes there. Let's see. What do we got? All right, I need some water actually. So I'm going to continue my story about this weekend in a minute, but I did try the Jane Walker over the weekend, and I tried it because a bunch of people on my channel have recommended it. I had never even heard of it. In fact, I barely ever see it. So the fact that so many people have suggested it just seems weird. And now this is the one out of New York, I believe, and their whole deal is that you've all heard the story about New York bagels is good because of New York water. So they said, well, let's make whiskey out of New York water. And that's where that whole thing came from. But I did try the, I'm sorry, no, I'm thinking Widow Jane. What did you suggest? Jane Walker. They're close. Widow Jane is what I'm talking about. I have not tried Jane Walker. I did not know that. The 10, I have no idea what you're talking about, Santa. Are you talking about this guy? That's one of the tough things. I really don't know a whole lot about this. Let me get this thing off the screen. By the way, this is a 90 proof, just because that's the only thing I didn't put on the screen. So, all right, let me tell you guys a little bit more about this weekend. So, after we got let into the main floor, we got these little pamphlets, and it had the 78 different brands and what they were representing, and everything was there, from Ardbeg, Lefroy, to a local place that was like probably 20 minutes from the location from Julio's in Westboro. And it was really, really interesting to see all of the different stuff all at once, and more importantly, to be able to try it all. Because I don't even think I'm exaggerating when I say I probably tried 30 different whiskeys. Now, clearly, it's not going to have the same taste or nose or anything by the time you reach the end of that list. But I just know you guys are going to start yelling at me if I don't drink more frequently. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, you start losing all of that nosing and tasting. And so right at the beginning, while I was still sober, I was networking a bit. I went around to all the different distilleries. I just kind of started talking to them a bit. I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. I'm like the 4th or 5th most popular channel on YouTube regarding whiskey, which is kind of funny because it's even at 10,000, like Ralphie's over 100,000. Like I'm a Whiskey Vault's at like 70 or 80,000 at this point, which Jesus, I have no idea how they did that so fast. But then they have their Whiskey Biscuits. So that's 3 that are above me. And then there's whiskey.com, and he's above me as well. I think that's it. There might be 1 or 2, but I'm not sure. They might be like multiple spirits. Either way, I'm up there. So I talked to the guys. I'm like, I've got over 10,000 subs. I'm pretty popular as far as my people who follow me, and they are generally pretty generous with their money. Like they will typically, if I recommend something, a lot of times I'll hear that they go out and buy it. And so, of course, the distillers love to hear that, and they give me their card, and I've already connected with a few of them, and there's already a few bottles on the way. So it's a good networking opportunity for me. But I made sure to do that networking right at the beginning, because whiskey adds up fast, and you start getting stupid real fast. So anyway, some highlights from the night. Ardbeg was great. I had the Ugadal. Or Ugadale. I'm not sure how to say that properly. I had the Ano, which both of those were delicious. Went to Lefroy's table. Everything from Lefroy is good. Actually, there is a local-ish, I think they're in like 6 states at the moment, called Copper Dog, and it's a bourbon. If you see this around, you should consider picking one up, because the price tag is going to be about right. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm going to guess it's under $35. And they have a really cool story as well, which I'm not going to talk about because they're sending me a bottle, and I'm gonna do a review on that pretty soon. So let's see, what other highlights were there. Glenn Morangi was there. I had the what was it Balveni's? No, it wasn't. Sorry, I'm trying to think of who it was. There was somebody, it might have been Balvenie. Somebody had a 21-year-old Portwood. Maybe some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. But in general, it was this 21-year-old Portwood. And I got to say, that was actually a bit of a letdown. I think for sure it was a Balvenie. I'm hoping that somebody here in the chat's going to correct me and tell me what it was. Sloppy networking can lead to a night of regret. Coyote Ugly. Jotty. I don't know how I feel about you yet, Jotty. Hey, thanks, Tyler. Tyler, of all people, you don't need to donate money to me, buddy. But I appreciate it. Oh, that's money towards bookers. What's the count at tonight? I think last time it was 40. So I don't know what the money's gonna be, but I'll wait till I get a little bit more in super chat. $2 isn't gonna make me bust out the bookers, but I do have one within reach. So, how many open bottles in my bar? Probably about 10, and that's of about 18, maybe 20 bottles. A lot of them are still unopened. It's hard to go through these as fast as I end up buying them or getting them. I've had a couple people send me bottles, a couple of fans. If you happen to be watching this, big army guy, thank you very much. I promise I will get to your reviews pretty soon. In the event that you would like to send me something, feel free to contact me at thewhiskeydick@gmail.com, and we'll connect. I only do sealed, unopened, obviously, bottles. So either way, I'm happy to review anything that you personally find pretty cool. Even better if it comes from some random distributor. All right, let's see what we got in the chat here. Rare breed so Travis, what do you think of that rare breed? Because I almost picked up a bottle the other day. I was really tempted. Okay, so it is Balvenie that does the 21 year port. So despite all the whiskey, my brain worked a little bit at least. Let's see what else. So Santa, I believe you said that you were drinking this as well. What do you think of this guy? I will say that it's going down very slowly, and it's not even necessarily because I'm talking a lot. It's just, it's got a bite to it for sure. That rye does start to come out after a little while. I could add water to it, but you guys know my feeling about that. Water does make things a little bit better, but in general, I like things to stand on their own, at least the first time I have a dram. I'm a big fan of this bourbon, though. This is a little bit more rye heavy than I would have expected. I did try to look up the mash bill for this. So Santa actually feels that this is great for the price, and at $80 for a bourbon, I mean, that's saying a lot. There's very few bourbons that are worth $80. Barry, I do see your question. I'm going to get to that in a sec. Is that the C? So this is not the cask strength. This is Jefferson's Aged at Sea Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, very small batch, and it is voyage number 13. So they've been doing this for a while. Oh my God, rare breed is amazing. Seriously, do what? I have 100+ bottles in my bar, but it's my go-to bourbon. Wonderful, deep tough. Oh, okay, you're telling me to get the rare breed. Okay, well, that's a pretty good promotion, I guess. Whatever. Spotted Uprising bottle, but not Battle Cry. Sons of Liberty still looking. So Pressman, you might not dislike the Uprising. I know that I said that the Battle Cry is a lot better, and I still stand by that for sure. But unfortunately, my overhype of the Battle Cry kind of undersold the Uprising. I liked the Uprising a lot. I would like the Uprising a lot more if I had the beer that I had with it along with it, which is how they sent it to me. So if you guys have that option, definitely. Water versus ice cube. My brother likes the ice cube, and I've tried it, and it's not too bad. So you guys know I don't do ice. I don't do ice because it dulls the flavor. That's about it. I will occasionally throw a rock in there, one of those ice rocks. I haven't done that in years at this point, though. And I will very rarely put water in here. The only time I put water really in my whiskey is if I am doing a review, because I want to make sure that I'm getting all of the nosing and the tasting notes out of it. Man, I didn't even know that there was a cask strength ocean. I haven't seen that. All right. So let me, there's still a lot in here. I put a pretty big pour for that first one. Oh, well, I got nowhere better to be. I'm off tomorrow. So you guys ask me all the time what I do for a living. And I've told you several times I'm in software. What do you guys all do for a living? Anybody do anything? Anybody an astronaut out there? Well, people talking about my cat's balls. So that's a good response for that. Wasn't that impressed with the regular Oceans, but the CS Oceans 10 is great. I'm going to have to find that one, Santa. I had no idea that they even had a cask strength. Have some sample bottles coming soon from Amazon. I'll email you, try to get you a sample of the rare breed. So Travis, I appreciate that offer, but I don't do unopened bottles strictly for safety, I'm sure you're a cool guy. I'm sure all of you in this chat are cool guys, but last thing I want is to get a problem. You know what I mean? So I don't need the charity as much as I need to not be poisoned. Guidance counselor, IT. What's the best thing to do? Oh, actually, somebody asked me what my favorite like whiskey of all time is. Everybody kind of hesitates on this question. I'm doing the same thing, even though I've got a couple that come quickly to mind. Some of you would expect me to say Booker's, and Booker's is high up there, but I'm going to avoid Booker's only because it's so unpredictable, because each batch is so different. So let's go with something a little bit more predictable. For a long time, Woodford Reserve Distiller Select would have been my choice. I don't think that that's going to be the case anymore. I'm actually a little unsure at the moment. My tastes are changing. You know, the more of these I drink, they say that everybody ends up at Islay, right? Or Isla. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to say. I think it's Isla. Everybody ends up at Isla. Everybody ends up with PD whiskeys. And Ardbeg 10 is fantastic. There's got to be something else, though. I will let you know if I think of it. I don't want to just sit here and ponder. That's not fun to watch. So, all right, let's see. What are some fun things to do in snow? You know, aside from all of the normal stuff, it's underrated how fun it is when there's like a foot or two of snow outside. And I live in Massachusetts. That's not that much of a rarity. To just run, jump, and belly flop into the snow. It's fun. It's really fun. And just knowing that you can just belly flop onto the ground and it doesn't hurt, that's just fun stuff. All right, let's see what else we got. Barry, thank you. You all dig my show. I appreciate that. A whiskey sommelier said it's best not to swirl a whiskey. Well, I will tell you that a whiskey sommelier is not actually a thing. So I don't necessarily know that I trust their judgment. See, I do the swirl because it aerates the whiskey, and that in general is the equivalent of letting it sit out on the counter for a while. So that's why I do it. And I also kind of do it because I'm sitting here talking and it's a nervous twitch, if you want to think of it that way. Plus, I'm sure it's very distracting for all of you. So, all right, let's see. What do we got? Hey, William Knight. Booker's no pressure. William, I think that's the first time you've super chatted me, so thank you very much, William. Appreciate it. And since we share a name, that makes you even better. Whiskey Throttle. Yes, I am still talking. Why did my audio go out? Civil engineer. Nice. My wife, I think I'll just keep that one a secret, but no offense. She doesn't want anything to do with the channel, so I'll leave that one alone. So whiskey sommelier is not a thing because, despite what Whiskey Vault guy will say, there is the equivalent of a wine sommelier in whiskey. There is no name for it. I'm being semantic, but that's, whatever. There are people that know a shit ton more than I do about whiskey, of course. That's their job in a lot of cases, but it's not technically a thing. So anyway, have you heard of McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt? The import peated barley from Isla. No, I have not. $50 though. That's a pretty good price for an Isla. So did you guys hear that Metallica is building a distillery? There's 3 options right now. There are, let's see, I think it was San Francisco, Nashville, or Louisville. Sorry, Louisville, basically. But a friend of mine who's from Kentucky told me it's pronounced Louisville. Anyway, so did you guys hear about that? Metallica making a freaking whiskey? I love that idea, and I'm psyched. I hope that, it's going to be a bourbon, so we only have to wait a few years for it, but if I'm still doing this channel, man, I am just, psyched to try that. They've been doing whiskey in the jar for so long. It's not even a huge surprise, but I'm surprised it took them this long to do it. Yeah, no, this is where we get all the different names for the whiskey. So ride the. Oh, man, there were a bunch of good ones. Do you guys listen to the Whiskey Cast? the podcast about whiskey. It's pretty good. I will say that an hour is a long time to listen for me to listen about whiskey. At least about like a news program about whiskey. But I think that Mark Gillespie puts on a really, really good show. So if you guys haven't listened to the Whiskey Cast, you really should. By the way, since we're over $20 at this point, I will bust out some bookers. But if anybody else is feeling generous, I've had a pretty crappy month as far as revenue from the channel, so wouldn't mind the extra super chats. But that will be the last time I'll mention it. Maltster of Puppets. Now that is a great name. I like that. That's really clever. Good job. I want to try a Portwood finish for the first time. What do you think about the Glenmorangie Quinta Reuben? And or do you have any other suggestions? I do not have any other suggestions. Unfortunately, my knowledge in that area is pretty limited, but I bet somebody in the chat will have a good suggestion for you. Casker of Puppets. That's even better, actually, because it's going to be a bourbon. I doubt that they're not really going to focus on the malt, AC/DC may have done a bourbon. Wouldn't surprise me. A lot of celebrities do have either vodka or tequila. I think Lil Jon has a tequila. I know that, what is it? What's the guy's name? Dan Aykroyd, actually. Is it Dan Aykroyd? I think it's either Dan Aykroyd or Meatloaf. One of them has that Crystal Skull whiskey, vodka. That's from them. I knew that was coming, Nelson. Dude, come on. Tell me you didn't like Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Or Hardwired. I was just listening to Spit Out the Bone yesterday. I don't know. I like that stuff. I went for a run for the first time in like a year today. And was listening to Death Magnetic while I was running. All right. So I finished the... It is Dan Aykroyd. All right. So I finished the Oceans. I don't know why. I keep wanting to say like Oceans 11, but it's Voyage 13. So I'm thinking, Oceans and a number. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to kind of keep this going. I'm going to open up the regular Jeffersons here, and I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison because that just sounds like fun to me. So don't mind the extra noise on the mic while I open this. But let me just be annoying. Sorry. Couldn't resist. All right, you ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that wasn't very good. Let me try again. 3, 2, 1. Haha, that was good. I like that. All right, so this is the regular Jeffersons. And to give you guys a little idea of what to expect here, we have, there you go, got our buddy Jefferson sitting in the back there. I don't know if you guys can even see this, but he's chilling on the back of the bottle. And if you look at the front of the bottle, you can see him through the back. It's actually a cool design. I'm going to reveal my nerdiness here for a minute. When I was younger, I used to collect Magic the Gathering cards, really collect them. And the reason I did that was because, although the game was fun, Chris, I appreciate that. $4.99. I'm curious. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Either way, I used to collect Magic the Gathering cards, and although the game itself was fun, I didn't play the game too much. I collected it for the art, and I just always thought the art was really, really cool. So when I see a bottle that is a unique design or a cool concept or whatever, I kind of nerd out about it. Like the Willet Pot Still bottle. And I've got one of those sitting behind me in the bar. I might even break that out at some point tonight. I love anything having to do with a really unique bottle. If you can look at something that you are just storing liquid that gets you drunk in and actually say that is a piece of art. Whatever. It does it for me. I like that stuff. All right, so I've got the regular Jeffersons here. I am going to take a sip or two of this before I go into the comparison, and I'm going to try to do some water in between as well. All right, so let's see. I'm going to keep these on the sides so you guys know which one is which. Yeah, man, if you get me talking about games, it's going to be stupid. I don't want to I don't want to alienate half my audience here. But I did just buy Monster Hunter World for PS4. Yeah, good stuff. All right, let me try the Jeffersons regular here. So the nose on this is not very impressive. Just immediately, it's kind of gross, actually. I'm honestly not sure what I'm getting out of there because it just smells like almost like skunky. I don't know what that scent is. I've smelled it in a few things before. So in my J&B that I did recently, where I mentioned that something smelled like a Sharpie, it's not quite that, but it's close enough that if this was a little St. Andrew's golf ball bottle. I'll have to look that one up. Thank you, Whiskey Music. I really appreciate it. New channel, by the way. I don't recognize the name. I'll have to check you out. Do you do reviews, Whiskey Music? Or do you just talk about music regarding whiskey? That's really weird. I'm sorry. I'm just don't think I can really pick this one out. Maybe it's like stale honey. I'm going to have to give that one a lot more thought before I do my actual review on this one. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a better. But let's see. Who am I? You know what I'm going to do? Because I've been kind of making a push for the patrons lately. If you are thinking about becoming a patron, specifically honestly at any dollar amount, it helps even more than a super chat. And the reason for that is because the higher that number is, the more likely people are to join me on Patreon. So if you are thinking about donating via super chat, go to patreon.com/thewhiskeydick and check it out. There's a few things there that you guys can do. You can basically you can get a t-shirt or a customized Glencairn that has a Whiskey Dick Patron 2018 now. And there's whatever. I'm not going to dwell on this, but I would very much like to have more of you guys that are actually interested in supporting the channel. Even though super chats are fantastic, the Patreon actually gets me a higher percentage of money. So it's worth considering that if you really, truly want to support the channel. Oh, actually, I'll leave that up because I haven't done the tasting yet. So either way, this cheers is to all of my current patrons and all of my past patrons, anybody who has ever donated me money on Super Chat, and this one's to you. Cheers. Sorry, I'm taking a minute for this one. It's almost like burnt tannin. Do you know what I mean by tannins? So if you were to have a whiskey that was over oaked, that's kind of this, except throw some char on it. Now, Jefferson's was one of the ones I suggested for my part 2 of like beginner bourbons, and I still stand by that. I think this is for the price, this is a good one to get into. It gives you an idea what you can get into for bourbon, but, and I'm going to sound a little pretentious here, I think I've had too much whiskey to truly find this one that good at this point. On my current scale, I think this would be between a try it and an ignore it, honestly. I think it would be worth trying, but I doubt that you're going to love it. So anyway, all right, let me see if I can get anything else. Admit to your wife that you are gay. I'll give you $100. While you live the lie, you get nothing. Hey, baby, I'm gay. I'm holding you to it. Holding you to it. Do it. She's probably sleeping, honestly. Boy, don't cut that out. All right, whatever. I don't give a shit. All right, so Jefferson's is, it's okay. It's okay. It's like a 4 out of 10, but Compare maybe a 5 out of 10. It's really just mediocre, actually. I'll give it that. It's mediocre. Especially, I should have had this one before before I had the ocean. It's funny seeing you guys react to stuff that I did like 30 seconds ago. Anyway, all right. Well, I don't even know that I need to do the side by side. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some water to both of these and see if that makes a difference. Now, I didn't bring any of my little pipettes because of course I didn't, because I actually need them. So let me see if adding a little tiny bit of water is even possible using this big glass here. Looks like it is. So let's do a little chemistry. Let those sit. Now I have read it wasn't as much as it looked. There really was about like 2 drips that went into each one. I have read that letting these actually sit for a minute before yeah, it totally did throw me. Letting these both sit for a minute before you actually drink them after you add a little bit of water is the proper way to do it. So I'm going to just chill and let these both sit here. I'm not going to swirl them around at all. And we're going to give it a minute. And so let me think. Is there anything else? Is there an in-between Jeffersons? Once again, I'm a little uninformed in this part. There is a Jefferson's like presidential, but I don't know where that sits. And then there's also a Jefferson Reserve. And I got to think that Jefferson Reserve probably sits in between these two. Have to think so, because there's no way that a $28 bourbon would only put out a $80 bourbon as well, especially if they had the ability. Good night, whiskey music. All right, so these have sat for a minute. I'm going to try the regular one first. The water helps. Water helps a lot. Doesn't quite make it delicious yet, but it does kill some of that nose that I was telling you I didn't really like. Let me see if it opens anything else then. All right, so people are saying the Jefferson's Reserve is about $50. Thanks, Benji. Nose opens up a bit. That honey that I said was like old honey or like stale honey. It's more just normal honey at this point. A little bit of butterscotch in there. The flavor reflects both of those things. Let's see what the oceans taste like. I actually like this one less with the water in it. Maybe I got to enjoy or get used to that little bite from the rye, but either way, I prefer this without the water. I prefer that with the water. So, either way, that's good to know. So, let's see. I'm trying to decide whether I want to bust into Booker's or if I want to try to discuss this stuff anymore. But to make it rain, I don't have any ones. All I have is 5s. Sorry. Do you think drinking whiskey out of a quarks glass changes the taste? I do not know what a quarks glass, but I think we're all about to find out as a group. Let's see. KWARX. Oh, okay. I see. I'm saving one of these off to my desktop and I will throw it up in the OBS here. That way you guys can see it. So this is a quarks glass. I didn't throw any transparency on there, sorry. So what this is designed to do is to prevent your hand from warming up the whiskey. That's about it. Obviously, chilled whiskey dulls the flavor. So warm whiskey it also changes the flavor. Considerably less, but still. I have not had one of these. I have been intending on getting a Glencairn with a stem. Excuse me. But I have not yet. It's one thing I've just been meaning to do. So Blind taste comparison of any bourbon with oak infusion spiral. Oh, that's a good idea. I've been thinking, sorry, I've not actually been thinking about that, but I do hear about those, like you throw just like a grooved up piece of wood into a barrel of, or into a bottle of whiskey, and it ages it. I mean, there's something to that, but over the time that you're going to let that thing sit, unless you're looking at months, I can't imagine it really making that much of a difference. All right, so Raven's Miracle is going to wake the hell up. So I'm guessing he's getting some coffee. Oh, I wish I had something better than Booker's 03. Nah, oh well. All right, let me finish both of these guys off, and then I'm going to bust out the Bookers, because everybody... I have not mentioned... I did read off the label. Like, I mentioned it was a blend, but not specifically. So, yeah, Jefferson's is a blend. Yeah, I'm glad that one's done. Man, does anybody in the chat actually like just straight Jeffersons? I'm curious. I don't necessarily want to badmouth it, because it's really not bad. It's just generic. It's kind of boring. It's part of the reason I suggest it as a beginner, because if you're a beginner, you don't really know, but it is approachable. It's just boring. So, Angel's Envy is so good. I am a fan. I know nothing about Jeffersons other than what I researched for about 3 minutes before the live stream. So, and that's already come out. All right. All right, I'm going to put this one aside because I would rather get to the people who bothered to super chat me and give them their money's worth. So, that's a little bit more hollow. Bookers. Freaking Bookers. All right, guys. So we got the 2017-03 up in here. Let me grab this guy here so you can all see. These live streams never quite go the way I think that they're going to go, so often I am unprepared when I do something like this. Oops. My folder structure here is not what it should be. So this is the 2017-03. Whoops, sorry. I don't know what that is, but let me get rid of that. 2017-03 is the, what is it? Front Porch Batch. So this one is pretty good. Forget exactly where it rated on my list of 2017s. I am dying for the 2018 to come out. It's actually like almost March, so it should be coming out pretty soon. You can see my lips moving. Dude, I am not ever busting out... Well, I shouldn't say never, because I apparently busted out Johnny Walker Red last time. Boy, was that a mistake. Boy, I also didn't tell you guys. I was hungover the morning after I did the J&B and Red Johnny Walker Red stream. Like, I haven't been since college. It was awful. I almost called out of work. That never, ever, ever happens. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that stream. I hope you're enjoying this stream. Honestly, I've been having a pretty fun time. So. Gotta love that Booker's. I said, God damn. Good stuff. So what else is going on with you guys? Looking for a little bit more interaction here. Can I suggest a cheap bourbon around 20 bucks? 20 bucks is a bit of a stretch. Go with Four Roses Yellow Bottle. You should be able, or Yellow Label. You should be able to get that around 20 bucks. Johnny Walker Green Label sometime. I would love to do that. That's my next one. I don't currently own a bottle of it, and the way I've treated Johnny Walker Red, I don't think I'm getting one out of the what do you call it, blend house or whatever you call them. So I'm going to have to buy that myself. But that's like $70. So let's see. Johnny Walker. So I've done red, black, double black, which means green is next. And then you got gold, platinum, blue. I did actually hit one of the goals on Patreon that says that I'm going to have to do Johnny Walker Blue, and I'm psyched to do that, but I wanted to go through the whole rainbow before I get up there. So less than $20 is Evan Williams bottle and bond. I like that idea. Go with the Evan Williams instead of the Four Roses yellow. I'm glad you guys are having a good time. And Benji, I'm glad to see you. I don't know if I've seen you in previous chats, and I apologize if you've been in like all of them and I've just totally not noticed, but you've been adding a lot to the chat, so I appreciate it. Let's see. Corner Creek hangs around 25 or 30 where I am. Highly recommended. I don't know Corner Creek. So one thing I will recommend as well is, let's see who asked that. So John Priester. Look for a local distillery, wherever you are. I don't know where you are, but there's probably like craft distilleries in your area. And if you live in the United States, they're going to probably be either American single malts or bourbons. You'll most likely be able to find one pretty cheap. So, by the way, March. So it is actually tomorrow's March 1st. So March is going to be my month of Irish whiskeys. I don't know that it's going to be only Irish whiskey, only because I have a couple of episodes already written and I have no Irish whiskey episodes written. But I do have 2 Irish whiskey bottles ready to go. So either way, I'm going to be doing Irish whiskeys as much as I possibly can throughout March. And I'm going to be having this guy, his name's Donald, from the Glendalough Distillery on my stream. I don't know if he's going to physically come to my house or if he's going to go over the stream, but either way, that'll be really fun. It'll be the first time I'm really like doing kind of an interview, you know, so that'll be really, really cool. I'm tempted to make that a live stream instead of just doing an actual video, but I'll have to kind of talk to him about it and see how he feels. Let's see. Yeah, Redbreast would be a really good one to do. I have never actually, have I had Redbreast? I'm not sure. I think I must have. They had it at that place down in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and pretty sure I had it then. I don't know Whiskey Throttle. I don't think that's happening. Whoever it was that told me they'd pay me $100 if I told my wife that I was gay. I mean, I did it and didn't see any of the cash. I didn't even see $1 from that. So I don't think that's happening. Is Malta in Montreal even in the stream anymore? Redbreast 12 cast strength. 3 bar. Have to go, guys. Bill, I enjoyed the chat. Great job. Cheers, everybody. Thanks, Whiskey Couch. Appreciate it. Whiskey Couch has a good channel as well. So if anybody's interested, there's so many little, not little, sorry, that sounds mean. There are so many up and coming whiskey channels right now that it's interesting watching them all do their own thing and kind of seeing how each one is trying to kind of cut their own groove through the barrel of the whiskey industry or whiskey YouTube. That's not even good. I'm sorry. Oh, bookers. I'm drinking this one pretty quick. So, let me think. What else? Starting to slow down a bit. So it's 10:20. I think I'll probably call it around 10:30 or so. But we'll see. I could be convinced to stick around, but I'm kind of running out of topics. I'm trying to think if there was anything else cool that happened over the whiskey weekend, this last thing at Julio's. I'm trying to think if there was, oh, you know what? Actually, this was cool. So Compass Box was there, and Compass Box had, their normal set. They had Hedonism, Spice Tree, Oak Cross, Peat Monster, and a couple of others. Excuse me. They also had, what was it? The white bottle. It wasn't the one that Scotch Test Dummies did with the, geez, I'm sorry. It must be the beer that's making me burp. I don't know. Whatever. So what was it? It was, what is that one that Compass Box does? It's like a white bottle. It's really hard to pronounce. Doesn't matter. Either way, when I went up there, kind of did my normal spiel, like I mentioned to you guys earlier. And I said, hey, I'm this guy. I'm looking to see, first off, I was like, your dude, like John, is a genius. So, if you actually know him, tell him that like everybody thinks he's awesome. And they were just like, yeah, we know. Everybody says that. So, hey, Scotch Test Dummies. What's going on, man? Glad to see you here. I'm guessing that's Scott because Bart doesn't log into stuff. Anyway, man, sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Thanks, Daniel. Phenomenology. Thank you, Scotch Test Dummies. I knew you came in just in time just to tell me that. All right, so phenomenology was there as well. And so anyway, I told them who I was, and they were like, I asked them, I was like, do you guys have anything that you don't have on the table that you might have brought with you just in case somebody happens to know about it? And they're like, actually, we have one bottle. I said, which one is it? It's the No Name. And I said, I would very much like to try that. Of course, the unfortunate bit was I had already had about 25 drams at that point, and I totally don't even remember what it tasted like. But I know that it was, I was like, can you please pour a little bit of that for the other 6 people that are here with me? Because this is something that they don't even realize what they're tasting and how good that is. But I know that they'll appreciate it if they ever kind of hear about it. So anyway, I got to try the No Name, and I don't remember much about it other than it was delicious. So I remember kind of turning around and just being like enjoy every second of this thing because it's like a $300 bottle. Anyway, so before I forget, so Scotch Test Dummies actually kind of just reminded me. So Scotch Test Dummies does, and Scott, by all means, please put some information in the chat because I'm not going to get this right. But Scotch Test Dummies does a charity event every year. And like I said, check out the chat to find out exact details. But if you can find it within you to tune in or donate or do whatever Scott asks you guys to do, I mean, charity through the whiskey community is fantastic. Whether it be just verbally or like Scotch Test Dummies does, and it's actually like a physical charity that they're helping to promote. It's something worth doing, and it's something that we can all kind of come together and help out. So anyway, he'll give you the details. Aside from that, and I hate to even make the association, Scott, but the Scotch 4 Dummies are going to be doing a live stream tomorrow, and I told them that I would, oops, that's the wrong picture. I told them I would help promote that. It's also not the right picture. Where the heck is this thing? This one? Nope. This one? Nope. Where is this? Sorry, hold on. Oh, there it is. Told them I would help promote them. So they are doing a live stream tomorrow, their normal Thursday, and they were kind of hoping to have more people show up than normal. So they're doing kind of like a big deal with McKellen here. And they wanted to have some good representation. So if you guys aren't doing anything tomorrow night, I believe they go on at, it's either 9 or 10. I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But check their channel. It'll be up there. So if you are free, go check it out. I think they would really appreciate the support. And when you pop in, tell them that I told you guys to show up. They'll appreciate the help. So Drams for Fams, that's what it's called. Yep. So for those of you who may not be reading the chat, let me just kind of go over this. They'll be their first year. So you guys did a charity last year, though. Don't make me look like a liar. But maybe this is the first year with these guys. This is the first year with Edmonton Scotch Club along with the Food for Drams. It will start May 2nd and benefit local food banks. I swear to God, you guys did something last year too. What is the whole 12 hours of whatever you guys do? I thought that was for a charity. If not, then I just look dumb. But either way, doesn't matter. Support the guys. Anyway. So I am going to wait a couple more minutes and probably call this pretty much right on the dot at 10:30. I had a really fun time. Whatever. I'm just gonna give my spiel and then be out of here. So I had a really fun time. I'm glad that you guys all showed up for the stream. I really enjoyed doing these. As always, you guys know that. The fact that you hung out for an hour and a half and kind of did this with me is awesome. And you guys are all the best. I really have some of the best fans. I love reading the comments every day. I try to respond to every single comment. Don't always get to it, but for the most part, I enjoy every single bit of this whole live stream thing. Not just the live stream, having the YouTube channel. I enjoy the being able to tell distillers who I am and go through that. And because of you guys subscribing, I'm able to give those numbers like over 10,000. So every bit of this bourbon and whiskey journey that I've had has been coincided with people like you guys tuning in to both my channel reviews, my live streams, donating to the channel, and just in general, whether it be money or even like ideas, you know, like anything that you guys do is just awesome to me. And I'll be at work, I'll be out, I'll be, you know, almost about to go to sleep, and I'll get a comment on my channel and I just like can't help but read it. It makes me happy every time I see the little icon show up on my phone. So thank you guys all for being awesome, being who you are, and helping me to achieve kind of like a life goal, really. I mean, having a popular YouTube channel, I'm gonna delay my own little sign off here for a minute. About 5 years ago, it was New Year's Eve. I was making a resolution. I was up in New Hampshire, and I was at some little like hotel thing with my wife for like a week. And we stayed there for the week, and we went and watched the fireworks over Lake Winnipesaukee. And we went back to the hotel, and we had some champagne. We got kind of shitty. It was nice. And we talked about what we wanted to do for our resolutions. But we also said, like, let's not just make these easy. Like, let's not say, I want to work out more, or I want to eat less crap, or whatever. Let's try to have like a goal, you know, something a little bit more substance to the resolution. And what I said was that I wanted to have a website that got 1,000 hits a day. Prior to making that thing, I had actually had a previous website that got about 7,000 to 8,000 hits a day. And it was awesome. I loved it. But then I sold it, got a good profit off of it, but then I really missed that. So I told myself that I really wanted to have that again. It took me years to get to the point where my YouTube channel does, I don't even know, it's like 6,000 to 7,000 views a day. And on the lower end, sometimes it's up to like 13,000 depending on the day. And just knowing that I've hit that goal again is something that I take huge pride in. And I appreciate you guys all for being part of that. So I'm going to shut up, stop being sappy, and go sit on the couch, play some Monster Hunter, and generally enjoy my buzz. So thank you all for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. And I appreciate you all, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.